Well, hey now, everybody. It is the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103gbfrocks.com. Alongside my tag team partner in podcasting, please welcome Mr. Friday Morning, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning, Rob. I see you're representing the three most devastating letters in sports entertainment. R-K-O.
Absolutely right.
I would like to start by apologizing for having such a dumb schedule that we're talking about SmackDown, which happens on Tuesdays on a Friday. But we just really wanted to talk wrestling this week again.
Yeah, I missed having a second episode, especially when we promised one. So it is a few days late, but whatever. We're still happy to be bringing you an episode today.
I don't know how you felt about SmackDown compared to Raw. I felt like such a party pooper after our Raw reunion episode. Everyone kind of reminding me that it was just supposed to be fun. And I used to see stuff like that and be like, we're just having fun. And like, whatever. But it departed so much from what I wanted to see that I just got so annoyed and so mad that I did feel like a big curmudgeon, a big stick in the mud.
Well, I don't know that that's fair. I think that your take was a little more extreme than mine and also fair. I will say I was surprised how the feedback went. I thought people would have been as disappointed as you and I were, at least as me. But people seem to have a better take on it than we did.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's a lot of what you said. We don't get enough of a break from these reunion shows, these nostalgia shows. I mean, we just had Raw 25. We have these 1000th episode shows. And then we get this reunion that's clearly just a ratings grab, which worked, by the way. They pulled the biggest rating of 2019. So, I mean, kudos to them. They got what they wanted.
So imagine this. Imagine if instead of hyping up the 30 legends that Raw had, legends using the term very, very loosely, imagine if they just would have hyped Steve Austin's return to Raw. And then you have the Steve Austin stuff, timely for his TV show. And then the next week, or maybe a few weeks later, you have Alundra Blaze come and win the 24/7 title and drop that off in the trash can. And then maybe the next week, she holds the title and then $1 Million Man comes and buys it off of her. Or maybe you just space out all these legends, and it probably would have been a very fun thing to have done throughout the year.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. I mean, just sprinkle them in so you never know which legend you're going to get.
Or like, imagine if, you just hype Mick Foley's return this week and you had just the same thing happen with Bray Wyatt. Even if it happened before Finn Balor, it would have been probably more impactful.
I've been hearing complaints about how they with the Fiend, that the Fiend needed to attack Austin, and I don't necessarily agree with that.
I haven't really seen that, but I don't agree with it. Was fine. It was fine the way it came off. It didn't need to be Austin.
It was fine. I enjoyed SmackDown this week because I think I wanted real WWE storylines. I wanted to get away from the nostalgia business and the legends. I have a hard time saying legends too with some of the people they rolled out on Monday.
Man, no one strikes me as a legend like Caitlyn.
Yeah, no one strikes me as a legend like, I don't know who this is. I know there are bigger wrestling fans out there. There are more knowledgeable fans, you being one of them. But if I can't recognize somebody on your pro wrestling show, you are doing it wrong, because I watch a lot of wrestling.
I'm going to say, and then this is just, I'm spitballing here, that Caitlyn has been on you could count Caitlyn's Raw appearances on one hand, on two hands. She's probably been on between 5 and 10 episodes of Raw, including this past week.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Your buddy Jerry's been on more episodes of Raw than she has been. Just like, as security guards and druids and whatnot. Like, he's just been on more than she has.
Yeah, Micah Harris has probably been on more Raws than Caitlyn has, and she's been described as a legend. I just think we're giving her a little bit of credit there.
Yeah, you know who needed to show up, who's been on more than Caitlyn, and I would consider a Raw legend?
Ellsworth?
You got it, bub.
So sorry you guys, I guess, didn't agree with us as far as our take on the Legends show. Glad that you guys enjoyed it, but hey, we just give it to you the way we shoot from the hip.
Yeah, shooting from the hip,
so
six-shooter style. And I liked SmackDown, and SmackDown got me excited.
Let me tell you my take on SmackDown. Had we done the show the next day, had we done the show Wednesday morning, I probably would have ragged on it. And I will say I was not enjoying it while I was watching it. But now I went through to remind myself of the things that happened on Raw and to figure out what to call this video. I'm sorry, on SmackDown. And a good bit happened, especially when it comes to shaping up SummerSlam.
Well, that's why I enjoyed it. I think that I agree with you, because the show itself wasn't the most enjoyable wrestling program, but at the end of it, they've done a better job of making me excited for SummerSlam than Raw had done, because it set up the matches. It added matches to SummerSlam that I'm like, okay, I'm in on these.
Yeah, and that's another good point, is the matches that they've added, I'm in on.
Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton, low key, I'm pretty excited about it, and I can't remember the last time I've been excited for a Randy Orton match. It's just because they have such good history, and I thought they cut really great promos on each other.
They did. There was one little thing that bothered me about that one. One little thing. Not a big deal. I am excited. I thought they were grasping at straws a little bit regarding why Kofi challenged Randy. Like, for them to call back to like 2009 or whenever that Madison Square Garden match was, that's just thin to me.
It is thin. That's where they're, I think that you don't need Kofi to challenge him. Why didn't they have Randy challenge Kofi? Come out and be like, I never thought you deserved this. I never thought you were good enough, and I still don't. I'm taking it now.
Maybe that's a better way to do it. I don't mind them reminding us of their chemistry, because I remember that match being awesome. I do remember that match, and I remember it, excuse me, being in a time when wrestling was not that fun, at least for me. That match being a fun, match in that time. I just don't feel like that match from a decade ago is the basis for anything relevant in this feud.
Right. I can agree with that. I'm enjoying this Kofi run. I feel like we're not to where it needs to be. It's not the greatest title run yet, but man, he's been defending it in some pretty cool matches.
I think it's been going great, to be honest, and I actually will say I think it is where it needs to be. He
needs a big opponent that I think can beat him. Like I have yet to see him in a feud where I think he's going to lose, and I don't think this is one of those either. There's no threat to him just yet.
Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, he doesn't have you mean like the way they booked Hogan, kind of like a monster, like how's Hogan ever going to overcome this?
Sure. Yeah, something really believable, because so far he's had Samoa Joe, who doesn't beat anybody. He's had Dolph Ziggler, who doesn't beat anybody. I mean, but they're like they're like level bosses in video games. I'm waiting for him to get to the end of the game. So, and like who's he going to take on? Like who's like a big, like Kofi and AJ Styles? I wouldn't know where that was going, to be honest.
Okay. Interesting. I was going to ask you for a name. I had a different name in mind. Is AJ Styles the one that you think is a good choice there?
I think it's a good choice, and one they would probably use. I'd like to see Kofi and Brock.
That's a really good choice.
I'd love that.
That's the answer. That's the one that's like, how would Kofi ever be able to overcome this?
Yeah.
My answer was going to be Roman Reigns, but I'll admit that Brock didn't enter my mind.
That's how you use Brock. I mean, it'd be great if Brock just went over and was like, I'm taking your belt now too.
Well, if you remember, I was hoping
he was going to cash on Kofi, but he didn't.
Yeah, and I believe this was for the Super Showdown or whatever the last Saudi Arabia show was. I said, imagine if Brock cashes in on Kofi and Kofi wins, what that would do for Kofi.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think that the run is where it needs to be at. He's still kind of been that underdog champion. And I think that that's been going pretty well.
It's been going really well. And I think it's all setting up to eventually we're going to get that New Day split. Maybe.
Man, or maybe even Big E could be that name.
How good would that be, pal?
That would be cool. I'm
still, everyone's talking about Big E, and I'm looking at Woods.
Well, I'm saying Woods isn't that guy. Like, if I look at the two of them, he looks like someone Kofi could get past.
Right. But I'm telling you, Woods is going to be the heartbreaking Seth Rollins of this group. That he's going to be the one swinging the chair.
I think that's a good decision, and I don't know if that's the way that they'll go, but I think that that's well thought out.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so yeah, keep moving.
Let me go through and just talk about the SummerSlam matches that were made on Tuesday night. Because they made 3 big ones off the top of my head. Yeah. That I needed to be reminded of. Like when I was reading back through what happened, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. A lot did happen on the show. It was long, and it was after a show that I didn't love and all that stuff. But they announced Owens and McMahon. Let's start there.
With a stipulation.
Remind me, please.
If Owens loses.
Oh, okay.
He quits. And I think it's going to turn. I think eventually it's going to be loser leaves,
which would be nice as long as it's Shane.
Yes.
So
correct.
I'm curious as to your take on this, because for months, in fact, since WrestleMania, you've been saying SummerSlam is going to be McMahon and Reigns, and they took a little bit of a right turn, despite the fact that you've been right for the past few months. Yeah,
they took a turn, but it's still they've been building. So I was wrong about the match, but I feel like I'm still okay. I'm still on track with, like, Shane McMahon is being billed as the greatest in the world, best in the world, and SummerSlam's where we finally get the payoff. And the payoff is he gets his ass dragged from pillar to post and sent packing. And so I think this is it. I think this is it for Shane McMahon for a while. I'm hoping that this is it for a while. Kevin Owens is going to be the one to send him home. That'd be good with me, man. And if anyone's going to get a good match out of Shane McMahon, it's going to be Kevin Owens.
Remember this? You just reminded me of something. Remember after, I think it was Crown Jewel, or whichever one had the best in the world tournament, and
sure, that was Crown Jewel, I believe,
and how mad everybody was that Shane McMahon won it. It all makes sense now.
It does. Do you think they wrote from the back? Do you think they knew this was where they were headed, or they just lucked into it? Like, I sometimes wonder if they're writing week to week.
No, I'm going to say this was probably part of the plan personally, and it also satisfied another means, because it also got the Shane McMahon Miz tag team started initially, and then didn't they feud too?
Started the feud, and it's what turned Miz. Remember, Miz in that tournament was a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Big heel. By WrestleMania, he's heel. By the end of WrestleMania, he was not a heel anymore.
Yeah. Right. They had the feud. That's right. They had the WrestleMania feud.
They had the WrestleMania feud. And when Shane McMahon won at WrestleMania, and he won in such a sneaky, sleazy way, like he basically gets slammed off the top of God knows what, and he gets hurt, and he's dead, but his arm lays across Miz, and he wins that way. I'm the greatest in the world.
Well, don't.
And then he gets the next match with Roman Reigns, and he slips out of the cage by accident. Oh, look at me, I'm the greatest in the world.
And don't forget how he won the greatest in the world.
Yeah, by sneaking it, Miz getting hurt and coming in and winning at the end on tired people.
So I bet if you could rewatch that episode of your extremely negative reaction to Shane winning, and it probably was both of us, but now doesn't it all kind of make sense?
It does. It sure does, but it's got to come with a payoff at some point, and I do think SummerSlam's the payoff. I hate to show my hand and say who I'm picking in that match, but I do think Kevin Owens is going to somehow end Shane McMahon.
Okay. Another match they didn't make this match, but it seemed to be heavily teased. I don't even know what this. The report is saying that I'm reading Dolph Ziggler teases match with Shawn Michaels, but I think it's going to be Dolph Ziggler and Miz. What do you think?
It's the second week where he comes out and interrupts a Miz TV and gets involved with Miz. And I think that it's a Miz Dolph Ziggler feud. I do. Shawn Michaels came out and took the super kick, kind of putting Dolph over there a little bit, cutting a good promo and getting heat there. Shawn Michaels is not coming back, and his match is not going, his big singles match back is not going to be with Dolph Ziggler. If he does one, it's going to be with the guy he was jawing with on Monday night, going back and forth. You see that little bit of action?
Oh, they've been wanting to do AJ and Michaels for what, a year or two now.
Yeah, that's the match, and I'm actually surprised that it wasn't AJ that came out last night. I mean, they need to do something with the OC and really have them just start wrecking shop. And so to have Dolph come out, I'm like, oh God, it's not even Dolph's fault, but it's the way he's been booked for the last 15 years that I just don't see him as a viable threat for a long term. He just, even since this last return, he comes back and he's not winning anything. He's just a level boss, and it's not his fault because he's an incredible performer. He really is. He sold me. What did he? The title run he had, remember, like a year ago, 2 years ago, when SmackDown Live first started.
Okay.
I got on the Dolph train. I was like, okay, I get it. I see what everyone sees. I didn't like him, but he's not Ryback bad. He's very good. They just don't book him right, and they haven't, and I don't believe in him.
That's a fair assessment. He is a former champion.
I know he is.
But still nothing. I don't disagree with you. I don't see him winning a title, a world title in maybe even the future of WWE.
Maybe Shawn will be in Miz's corner.
I don't know that we're going to see Shawn at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that we take a different view than CBS Sports does. And then we talked about Kofi and there's still another one I want to talk about because
there's a big one.
Yeah,
it's a big one.
So the report I'm reading has the big one as Owens and McMahon, but I titled the video Bray Wyatt accepts Finn Balor's challenge for a match at SummerSlam.
On behalf of the Fiend.
Yeah.
Like I loved everything about this promo. And we've talked about promos of the year and like this guy cut a great promo and this could be a promo of the year and the Kevin Owens pipe bomb. Why can't it just be Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse is the promo of the year? Because they have been the best promos you're going to see.
Oh, look, I would call this maybe storyline of the year. None of them jump out as being a promo of the year, in my opinion.
Oh man, this was so good where he comes out. Hi, Finn. Hey, it hasn't been me wreaking havoc and scaring the living hell out of everybody's kids for the past 2 weeks on Raw. No, I'm Bray, and I'm a big fan of yours. So is Ramblin' Rabbit and Mercy the Buzzard. We love you. The Fiend doesn't, though. The Fiend doesn't think you're super duper, but we do. We're fans. The Fiend accepts your title, your challenge. It's going to be fun. I should warn you, though. The Fiend is super evil, and then he gets the dark, and his eyes start going crazy, and he's looking off camera, and he looks back at you, and the Fiend is power. The Fiend remembers. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but this is the best.
Bray is showing Finn exactly how you do a two-character character.
You don't just, I'm going to bring out the demon. I got the paint right here, and I'm going to paint the demon on me, and then I'm going to win all my matches.
I mean, everyone thought the demon was so cool. I remember really being the turd in that punch bowl, telling everybody, like, there needs to be something different because all it is the paint. Nothing else changes. The entrance has a different intro. That's it. It's just an entrance.
Was cool. It just, you're right. The psychology wasn't there.
This was what I wanted.
Bray's doing it. He's doing a banger job.
I don't know. Do we even have a storyline of the year for the posties? But we might need to add it.
I would be way happy adding it because just so we could give it to this.
Yeah, I mean, that's a category we should definitely have if we don't anyway.
Think of how patient they've been. I mean, this has gone on for months. It's been the entire summer and then some. Because you start with the Firefly Funhouses that I remember after the first week. Not you and me, you and I loved it, but there's a lot of people were like, "This is the worst. What are they doing to Bray Wyatt? Oh, WWE sucks." Blah 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 blah. Took one more week, and everyone was like, oh, "Okay, he's so good." 9 episodes of that, 9 weeks, dragging it out. This isn't an era where the WWE rushes everything.
This is 80s and 90s storytelling. This is what I've been talking about.
9 weeks of the Firefly Funhouse. Then he leaves the Funhouse. Then 3 weeks of like random puppets showing up backstage and no one ever really even talking about it. And then 2 weeks of him showing up as the Fiend and attacking people. And then another week where he comes back as Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse, like nothing ever happened.
Sure.
And we still haven't seen him in a match.
Exactly right. And how badly do you want to?
I want to see him in a match more than anyone else on SummerSlam. They could make it the main event just because I want I want to see it so badly that I would wait till the end to see it.
So that's what I mean, how long have we been, comparing things to the Razor Ramon and 1-2-3 Kid as like a way that I like my stories told just a little bit week by week. This is a very good example of modern day that. So
it's to the point where like they've got me marked out where I'm like, just give it to me already. I want it now.
What else is worth talking about from SmackDown? I'm trying to think. Let me go through my run sheet here.
Well, if you want to, if when we're done talking about that, I'd like to talk about how good John Cena is. No one ever talks about how clairvoyant he is.
Hold on. I'm trying to go ahead. I'm not sure we have much else to talk about.
John Cena, seeing the future.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Paul Heyman's always talking about how I'm not giving a prediction, I'm giving a spoiler.
Oh, okay. I don't know this story, actually. I only saw it in the, the prep we use.
John Cena has his line on the Raw reunion against the Usos where he's talking about bested and getting arrested and the Usos getting arrested because they have. How funny. Little did we know that 2 days later, Jimmy was getting arrested.
What did Jimmy? I don't know what he did.
DUI.
Didn't they just do this?
Yes, sir.
Same one or the other one?
That I don't know. I mix them up in the ring, dude. I'm definitely going to mix them up with the mug shots.
Man, I wonder. I mean,
they can't get out of their own way.
How many strikes? I mean, will WWE allow them? They've given Jeff Hardy a bunch, although he hasn't been on TV in a while.
I saw someone write, they're taking this Uso penitentiary thing way too seriously.
Whoever said that had a good line. That's funny.
Kayfabe. I mean, they're not breaking kayfabe at all.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Welcome to the Uso bail bonds.
Can anyone tell me? I mean, we're about to sign off, I think, but I'm curious if this is the same Uso or if this is a different Uso.
Let me look it up.
Okay, yeah, I'm really curious about this. And then we can wrap it up, I think.
I'm sure TMZ will tell us if he's had more than one. He was arrested for driving under the influence near Pensacola, Florida, early Thursday morning. There it is. 33 years old. Boop, boop, boop. Uso has a history with the law. Back in February, Jimmy was arrested after getting into a drunken dispute with cops in Detroit. Then Jimmy squared up with the police.
Oh, that's right. That wasn't
disorderly conduct and obstruction. So it wasn't a DUI, but it was drunk in public and fighting cops.
That's right. I misunderstood. You're right.
And it was Jimmy both times.
Poor Jay.
Yeah. Poor Jay for a lot of reasons. One, like this is gonna probably screw up the Usos, but it's also like poor Jay because I thought he did one of these. Like I was crediting them both.
And on that note, Jer, you made my day today. Thanks for joining us. Sorry it was a little late, but I thought still a fun recap of SmackDown. We should be back, Tuesday with a Raw recap?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Back to normal on Raw, too. I'm excited for that. I don't need all these legends hanging around. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll talk to you again Tuesday. From myself and my tag team partner, Jerry, we'll see you Tuesday.
We got to stop calling them legends, by the way. For real.